Hello, I'm Isaac with American Lighthouse, and my cat again found their way down here. So she was clawing my leg the whole time I was doing my Mario Maker video, and now she's again kneading my leg while I scratch her head. Um, I this is gonna be a weird topic because it can be uh it's how do I put this? Well, I'll just get in the video and you guys decide where or what it is. But I was watching Star Trek the next generation the other night while I was playing Pokemon Unite, and in the background. But it was the Drumhead, and there was an episode where the spy is found, and an investigation goes on the Enterprise to find out if he had what he was there to do, what he got, what he sabotaged, and maybe who his co-conspirators were, and it leads them to questioning this Vulcan crew member who happens to be like half Romulan, and so the witch hunt goes up to him. And at the very end, Picard recites it, and it's in the. I don't think it's said. It might. It's this. The statement's been reiterated by other people throughout history. But the exact thing that the exact like little quote that Picard does in the show is, uh, when the first link is forged, uh, the the chain. Oh God, no, I can't remember. But it's basically the first freedom that we give up forges the first chain of our undoing, and that chain, that chain's instinct, that chain's purpose is to become more and more and more, longer and longer and longer. And every time we sacrifice, like even I was not necessarily a voice against something like the Patriot Act back in like 2000. I now know realize that it was just another part of people's want to redefine the meaning of freedom here in America. And we've seen how the seeds of that have sprouted out into what we have now today. And the scary thing is it's not even the government really enacting on those things that much. They do, but it's these private companies like Facebook, Google, YouTube. Um, they are echoing the sentiment of for your safety and security, we have to forego certain animities of the freedoms that we have as a society. We must kind of put them aside, just push them to the side for a little bit until we fix what's wrong. We help you. We stop catastrophe, or we stop extremism, or we stop hate speech, or whatever. Yada yada yada. But it to me, it's shocking how companies are seem to be doing this more than the actual government. Although the government, you can see with the FBI targeting parents who are upset with over sexual material that's being taught to their kids, and now pretty abundant raping of girls in schools due to bathroom fluidity and gender nonsense. Gender should be a non sequitur. It should be black and white, male, female, night and day, AM, PM. There's a duality in us humans, and that goes into our sexes. There's a male and female to propagate. Now there are abnormalities now and then, but we get this notion that we can give away some of our liberties and our freedoms, and it will only in the end benefit us through the security we get or the safety we get. But every time anyone, even people I firmly disagree with, I want them to be able to shout from the highest peak with the loudest microphone their ideas. Because the moment one of their ideas is stifled or censored or removed, next can be my ideas can be censored, removed, and banned. Um, the only real concrete ultimate way to defeat a bad idea is to let it scream itself to death. because the worse the idea is, the more horrible the idea is, the less traction will get with the average person. Because the average person, whether you're American or Chinese or Japanese or Korean, you are by nature a fundamentally relatively decent human. There is evil in all of us, and it's how we grow our character that determines if we become more of an evil psychopath or we become a decent God-fearing human. But fundamentally, I think we're decent. Like, fundamentally, I think we want the betterment of ourselves and our community and our neighbors and our family. We want there to be, equality. Everyone has a right to try. Everyone can have the right to learn. And with the internet, college is kind of a fucking moot point now. Really, if you think about it, all colleges now is just a continuation of bygone concept that you must go to these places to learn that knowledge. Whereas I can type into my keyboard and learn anything that you could learn at college. Um, and so college is kind of, and I guess the logical conclusion is that colleges become more online, and that's what they're doing. And you see these colleges, even things like Grand Canyon University, Phoenix University, uh, DeVry University. All these universities also have a lot of online stuff, and that's really in line with how the internet has changed it. There shouldn't necessarily need to be a campus and a professor who has the hundreds of textbooks for the topics that course is on when you have the internet and you can look up all of it. You could learn about physics in a day. I despite my memory, I mean, in spite of my memory loss, my memory problems that I have, um, I've learned multiple topics on multiple subjects. Just by I'm curious. I'm like, hey, I wonder about this. I look it up and I learn about it, and voila. Now, say now, like I study Shintoism a lot. Am I an expert at Shintoism? No, but I generally remember more than the average person knows about it. Um, Shintoism isn't like the same as like physics or uh, virology, biology, but the principle's the same. You can learn all you need to know about those topics online. Um, and here I'm getting off in the weeds. This video was meant to be about like how we really, really need to start questioning the 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 liberties and freedoms that we allow to be taken away, and that very much is what it is. We allow it to. The wearing the mask, the mandates, the 6 feet apart, the closing of businesses. We allowed that to happen. If there were enough people of the mind of me and people I know, and other people out there that I listen to and the people that they listen to. Look at this cat. She just wants to nibble on my hand and rub my hand on her face. Um, we wouldn't be to the point where we are, and we've got some places where that never happened because you had enough people there and the leadership to acknowledge that um, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And then when it comes to the government reaching into private affairs of citizens, generally the go-to answer to that is no, the government should not, no matter what the case may be. Um, because our freedoms, people think freedom is this peaceful, loving, happy, wonderful place, and it can seem that way to some people, and it can definitely appear to people who don't feel content that that's what it should be. But no, freedom is simply it's your right to fuck up. It's your right to get hurt. It's your right to get offended. It's your right to, and not offended isn't all you have a right to cancel people offending. No, you will be offended, and that's part of the right of freedom. Freedom comes with it a caveat that that freedom must be equally entrusted to your fellow man. Therefore, if you think you should be able to say something, whether you think people agree with you or not, someone else should be able to say the exact same thing with even if you don't agree with them. And we're getting down this dangerous, dangerous road, and that chain that's forged link by freedom, by liberty that's given away in the hopes of free security and safety. Those chains aren't going to go away on their own. They're like a physical chain. It's there, and it's going to be hard to remove them because we have to tear pretty much every link off of that chain one by one. We have to find where we have given away a liberty or freedom for security, and we have to break it. We have to take that dangerousness and chaoticness of whatever it is back. If we are to truly maintain the freedom and ideas that this country is founded on. And so think to yourself, how can you take apart those chains? How can you dismantle the shackles of servitude and security? Look at her. She likes rubbing in my armpit. She's such a weird cat. I swear to God. And I'm the most ticklish person. And then she'll get bite me and stuff if I don't let her. Okay. I wish you could hear her. She's still purring like an engine because she's like the weirdest cat I've ever had. She's actually the kitten of my friend's cats who were brother and sister. And I thought they were fixed. They weren't. They had a litter, and this is one of the kitties of the litter. And she was so off and standoffish and shy that I didn't think anyone would be interested in having her. So I kept her, and yeah, I'm the only one that she seems to like. But think to yourself, just in your day-to-day lives, while you're eating lunch, or you're getting ready to do laundry, or you're doing laundry, or folding laundry, or you're sweeping. Just think, what is something that you used to do that you can't do now because it's deemed for your safety, and do it anyways. We need to get back in the mentality of not letting these chains be formed in the first place, and the first step in that is breaking some of these chains, uh, bit by bit, piece by piece. So we need to dismantle the chain that's been built slowly and slowly since the 1920s in this country. So this country can finally be free. It can finally stand up. It can finally live up to the potential of the principles of this country. But that requires the dangerousness of a free society. Thank you. Goodbye.